Good afternoon, happy crafters. Thank you for joining me, Toni Darroch, live in my studio. If you have never seen our studio before or ever seen me or create and craft, this is the place to be. My name is Toni Darroch and I love anything to do with stamps, dies, crafty products, anything that creates something that's been made from the heart or with a smile or given to somebody and somebody else has had a smile on the face. That's what we're all about here. All about sharing, inspiring each other. If you are watching on Facebook, thank you. Don't forget to drop a comment below when I've posted the finished makes. This puts you in with a chance to win one of the studio makes. And if you are watching over on YouTube, that's also brilliant, but don't forget to click the subscribe button. So for those of you who are maybe joining us for the first time, I do encourage you to go back and watch some of our earlier videos. There is a whole host of videos there using varying products, varying techniques, other people's products and things like that. We do encourage you to pick up what you have at home. We don't encourage you to spend, although it is lovely. We do encourage you to check your stash and have a look through, because some of the techniques that we do live here in studio, you could probably use alongside other brands and other products. So welcome everybody. So we're just going to go through some of the things that I'm going to be using in studio. If you did watch us on Monday, you would have seen that we launched some brand new products. We are now collaborating with a fantastic art company who create the most amazing products. And I know a lot of you have bought them and maybe some of you have got them in hand already. And I am going to be using some of those products live in studio this afternoon. So I just wanted to show you one of the products which I'm going to be using today, and it is the silky crayons. Now in last video you will have seen that we did the video for our fabulous oil pastels, and I was just showing you how easy they were to use. I've never picked up a pastel in my life and I've had some fantastic feedback, so thank you for your words of encouragement, because it encourages me to do more and maybe play more, and two, if you did purchase them, to have a go yourselves. That's amazing also. So I am just going to show you a quick video about these products, and then we'll get straight into our fabulous demonstrations. So I'm going to get straight into demonstration number one using these fabulous products, and some of the products that we launched in Colourful Cards Collection 2 a couple of weeks on TV. A lot of you have got these and are already making fantastic makes, so I'm just going to show you an alternative way to use these alongside some newer products. If you haven't got these products, please don't think I'm going to switch off, because there is no point. There is absolutely a point of staying tuned. You may have a die that does something similar to this, you may have a stencil, and you probably will be able to get the same results as I can here today. So let's crack on. So I've just got my large die cutting machine for this one, albeit these do go through your snap. They are 6x6, so they do go through your smaller machine, your snap machine. But just for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and use the larger one because it's the nearest one I have to hand. So I've just got a piece of cardstock here, and what happens with these paper piecing dies, you can paper piece the elements in and things like that, but it stays within the card. So you can trim the card down. It makes a beautiful card front, or you can leave it absolutely within and put some pattern paper and things like that behind it. It looks stunning either way. So I've just got a piece of white cardstock and I'm just going to run this through the machine. So ahead of time, I've already gone ahead and cut a few of these frames, and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do next. So there are 2 frames glued together there already, and this will be a third. So you can see there, it gives this beautiful frame. So I'll just clear this away on the floor. Keep it tidy. So So just set this one aside. So this is the third one that I've just cut. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it directly on top of these other two that I've put together. So I'm basically making myself an embellishment, like a chipboard embellishment. And you will be able to see why I'm doing this in a second. So I'm just going to pop some glue on this circle here. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on some of the arms of the rays, the sun rays should we say. So I get a solid, heavy, not heavy, but sturdy, that's a better word, isn't it? Sturdy embellishment. Oops. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this one on top. Like so. And then we have this super thick embellishment there. You can just see there a little bit. So it just gives us a little bit of dimension to our cards. So I'll just make sure it's all fully stuck all around. So we'll just set this one aside. So I've already got another one here. And I'm going to use this as a little bit of a template. So I have my like stencil if you want, it's just cut out of card. And I'm just going to pop it on top of this square card. I know it's not your top folding note card. I am stepping out of the box for this one. So I'm just popping this on top and I'm going to use it as a template. So whilst I have it there, let's just see if I have got some tape just to help me out here. So I am going to tape it down, but nothing like lots and things. So just pop it on top, make sure it's straight. So it's just, oh, it's not holding, it's not a problem, I'll hold it myself. So, with the crayons, so if you haven't seen the crayons before, you just saw a little video there, but in a sense they're a water-based crayon that create a beautiful watercolour background, wash, texture, mixed media, colouring. You can scribble onto your mat, colour with them, create splashes and things like that. So they have a cushion grip on the side, it's a pull lid and it has your twist technology at the end to make it taller as it runs down. So I'm going to go for orange and yellow on this occasion, but you can use as many colours as you like. We'll go for purple as well. So I'm just going to pop this down and all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as like a little template. So I'm going to go just scribble within the line there, can we see? Just random. So I'm going to, in fact I'll do alternate numbers. So in that one, miss one. So I'm just scribbling using the die as a template. Like so. So you get this effect. So if I wanted to now, I could just give that a lovely blend with my finger and it'll create a haze if I wanted to. But I don't want to do that. I want to make it more watercoloury. So I've just wet my brush and I'm just going to drag the colour out a little bit. Just follow the line and drag the colour out a little bit on each one. So you can see there how lovely the blend. This is just a top folding. Sorry, this is just a piece of card blank, nothing, it's not watercolour. Like so. So I'm just going to do all of the yellow elements first. So I'm not being too careful with it, just give it a good old colour in there. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dry that off. Already we've got a bit of a sunshine coming on there, and you could use these as backgrounds yourself if you wanted to. Without the dye it would look just as good. So I'm just going to dry this one off. And the reason I'm doing it in two parts is because I don't want the colours to combine and create an ugly colour. So it's best just to do one colour, dry it off and then change to another colour. So just I do try and be patient, but I do appreciate it is live and it's boring watching things dry. So there we go. So what I'm going to do this time is we're going to move on to our second colour. So I'm just going to get the template again, the scruffy looking template. I am going to use this, but I'll just show you. So there, when you pop it back on, make sure it's the right way, there we go. When you pop it back on, you get like a complete, so just popping that on to the card front, make sure it's straight. And then when you're happy it's straight, you can give it a good old push down. Now just be mindful, as I'm doing here, I can see it happening right in front of me. As I'm pushing it down, the crayon, the excess crayon on the card is like wanting to blend. It's saying, go on then, give me a push if that's what you want to do. But it's okay because this is going to be covered, but just be mindful of that. If you only put one layer on, you might smudge what you've got going on. So there we have sort of like the background. And then what we're going to do with our lovely crisp element is this is going to go straight on top, look, and create the most amazing looking card. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's pop some glue behind. Make sure your hands are nice and clean if you are using white cardstock, because if you're anything like me, you will, you know, end up with a blob and the world's biggest butterfly just will not cut it. So I know a lot of you have got this sun ray dye, but have a look through your stash. If you haven't, you might have a stencil, because I remember buying a stencil a long time ago that was very similar to this and it would still do the same effect. I'm just going to pop this direct on top of our card. And press down, and what then happens is you've got like an embellishment on the top of your card. So it gives you instant dimension without all the fuss. So when you're happy it's in place, give it a good old push down. You can see it coming together, can't you? So I have got a little black mark here. I'm just going to see if it'll let me take it off. Yeah, it has, thank goodness for that. So ahead of time I stamped out, because I've got 2 demonstrations today and I think it's lovely when we get 2 in, because, you know, try and use different techniques in different fashions and things like that, so I do try. So I'm ahead of time, I stamped the little one out from this stamp set, which is the one from this one which we spoke about earlier, and I just quickly coloured it in some random colours, so yellow and orange to go with the background, and I popped a little bit of purple in there as well. So this is the smaller one, so if you're finding you're using the big one all the time and not the little one, maybe this is an opportunity to use the little one as well. And then to finish, I would just pop some little, just add that little bit of sparkle around the floral embellishment there. And I always have to work in 3s. So I'll just pop that one in there, in the centre of that flower. There we go. So there you have a different looking card. built up. You can see, let's turn it on its side. Can you see the dimension on its side there? It's beautiful, and if you like your classic looking cards and sometimes they're lacking a little bit of dimension, this is a great way to go with your embellishments. Build them up, and it looks like a little bit of an MDF embellishment. So that's card number 1. I hope you liked it. Something a little bit different. Now here, if you haven't got the crayons, you don't have to have the crayons. Maybe get, if you've got our colour essence, watercolours, you could do those within the lines. If you've got somebody else's watercolours or pens or pencils, get them out and give the technique a try, because it truly does give a different look and it's really, really lovely. So we'll set that one aside and I will move on to card number 2. So for this card, we're going to go a little bit different. So I'm just going to get my Eureka. Eureka here, and I have a top folding note card that I'm just going to use, back to what I love. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it in my Eureka here, and then I'm just going to get another piece of cardstock, a smaller piece if I can. So I've just got another piece of cardstock here, and all I'm going to do, let's move these out of the way for now, just get into shot, is I'm just going to create myself a little border. So when I come to stamp, it will go on some of the areas and not on the other. But if you have tape, you can mask it off, you can do what you want. This is just the way I do it, it's quick and easy. So I've just got that piece of cardstock there. Now I can lower it if I want to. So first of all, I'll grab the large stamp from the same set, and we're using the large one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use half of the stamp. So we did the technique on Monday where we cut into the stamp and chopped things up, didn't we? This time we're going to use half of the stamp. So it gives a defined line. So you can do it this way, you can do it that way, but I think I'm going to go with this one. So the lower the cardstock, the more colour you're going to get on your card. Always remember that. So I think we'll go with maybe a little bit lower. I think we'll go with that. So I'll get the rose on there as well. We'll go with that, see what happens. You know, if it doesn't work, it's a piece of card, we can do it again. Although I hate having to do things twice, we can do it again. So I'm just going to pick up the stamp, just get rid of that glitter card on there. And just make sure this piece of cardstock is straight. There we go. So I'm just going to ink up the whole of the stamp. I'm not going to be particular about where the ink goes because it is masked off. And because I'm using the Eureka Wid, I have the facility to do it more than once to get all that fine detail within that line. So I'm just going to push down, make sure I get all that detail, try and get as close to that line as I can. Like so. And I am just going to do it one more time, just to make sure I've got all the lovely detail in there. I think that's really nice. So let's just set this aside. And then when you move this, you have like a defined border. Can you see there? Now you can mask that off, as I said earlier. You don't have to just use the piece of cardstock. So what we're going to do for this one is I'm just going to bring back in the colour palette that I used on Monday when I used these couple of colours. If you did miss Monday's show, I encourage you to go back and watch. There's some fabulous demos on there also, using different techniques. So I'm just going to get my brush, I'm just going to reactivate this colour here. So we'll go, I think we'll go with a bit of purple first. As you can see this, the tubes are a 12mm tube and you need the smallest amount. They are of an artist grade, they are highly pigmented. You probably never have to buy a watercolour tube again. So I'm just getting some of the colour on there, and I'm just going to randomly drop it in there. So I'll do one petal and then I'll move on to another. But what I try not to do is do two petals that are connecting, because what will happen is you'll get a bleed. They'll bleed together. So try and do two opposites if you can. Obviously, for the purpose of today, I am just going to go for it because I don't want you to spend ages watching me colour. So I'm just popping a light wash down on the large flower. That's actually the focal point I would suggest there. And then I'll take some of the purple onto these little areas here, and I'm not going to be precious about it. I'm just going to spot it in random. I do like watercolours to be loose. That way it gives you scope for, not error as such, but you know, because we don't like the perfect side of things. So I'm just going to get some of this lovely pink, and we'll just go for this rose here. So this is just flat colour, clean, clear colour, flat. No, I'm not adding any dimension. I'm just literally going for the areas, just popping the colour in there. I want it to be quite pale as well if possible. I'm just going to go for two colours because that's what I have in my palette. Little flower there, so we'll get that covered in there. I am going to leave the green elements. In fact, I don't have to leave the green elements. I've still got some green here, look. I'll just reactivate this one. And I'll just drop a little bit of green in there. Which I'm pleased I did now, because I feel like it's finishing the project. There we go. And I would leave that be. So I'm just going to try that one off. This studio, I just need to pop it. I'm going to pop offset. Stamped fine. So just grab an embossing powder. We'll go for a coppery colour. Get this lovely, get a lovely finish if you have the right tools to keep your projects nice. So we'll just heat set this one, so get your gun good and hot, you get less warp in your card. And then as soon as it's hot enough, pop it on the card. As soon as the powder starts to change, then move your gun. You can see, you get this beautiful finish on there. The stamps are really, really lovely and give a lovely finish. So I have some of this lovely like baker's twine here. So I just cut a long piece and I'm just going to fold it in half so it's level. And then I just have some tape here. So I'm going to create this like border part here. So I'll just grab some tape to secure it in place. So I'm going to twist it a little bit so it's a little bit, it's not too straight. So I just pop the tape behind here and hopefully it will hold it in place just for as long as I need to get it round. Pull it round. I'm going to twist it a little bit so it's not straight like so. Make sure it's absolutely solid on there, and then the bits are not going to fall out when you adhere them to your card. So you get this like lovely twisty bordery effect there. So just bring that one a little bit higher, that one a little bit lower, and then I just have a little piece here where we could pop a nice bow on. So just tie it in the centre. So this is like adding just a little bit of texture to my card, but not too much. I'm not a fan of, you know, building my cards up, unfortunately. I just like them to be quite simple. But if you do like to build them up, obviously the opportunity is there for you to do that also. So just twist that one higher, like so. And then what we'll do is we'll pop some pads behind, and we'll pop it onto this card. So I will pop a few behind because I always find if you don't pop enough behind, they sink, the cards sink, and it's not easy on the eye. So I'll pop one in the centre. So I am live on Create and Craft tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we have some super prices on some super products again. So if you are new to Stamps by Me and you maybe bought our members gift, then it's a perfect opportunity to maybe grab something else from our range. I have some fabulous demos prepped, and as always, as you all know, I always get super excited about it. So if you can join me, it's 10 o'clock tomorrow. And then all I'm going to do with this white piece is pop it onto this top folding note card with no sparkle, nothing, as in sparkle I mean like glitter card. And then I am just going to again use my silver gems, and I'm going to pop one in the centre of the flower, and I'm going to leave that be. So there we go, two completely really different looking cards. And two completely different ways. Don't forget to pop a comment on and let me know if you like the techniques. Have you done the techniques before? Are you going to try them? Something new, something a little bit different. And I will see you all tomorrow at 10. But following that, I will be live back here on Monday at 4 p.m. with some more hints, tips and techniques. Have a great evening everybody, and I'll speak to you all later. Take care. Bye.